Hi, Zach.
Well, hello, everybody. Surprise, I'm back. Actually, I was looking up some South High basketball things. They're ranked 8th in Division III in the Central section right now, so some work to do if they are going to get to Summit Arena.
Because what happened is, the one big game that they have, they lost to West in a non-league game, which I like because it's a friendly rivalry between Clayton and West High coach Ty. Wow.
I know, we're screwing up the names
all
left
over
and
the
right.
place. Ty
Hammond, yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting. And I know that they're going to have a nice little rivalry that if one has to go through the other. But that D3 bracket will be really interesting. I think it's Selma and West at the top right now, and then it kind of trickles down from there.
I mean, I wouldn't count out South with everything they've been through and overcome already.
No, you know what? And Emmanuel Mixon truly is turning into a college recruit at this point now. And it's not from what he's done before. It's what he's building up into, and there's a lot of interest in him because he's a 6'6" forward that can run the ball.
And it's a terrific story and a great job done by you in the video and the print, and we're happy to talk to those guys. We're going to switch gears now, bring in Kurtis Brown of Liberty High School. We can still say that for a few more months, but soon to be University of Arizona Wildcat defensive lineman. Still rehabbing that knee injury that kind of cost you the last half of your senior season. First of all, you're telling me during the break the knee is doing real well.
Yeah, the knee is going fantastic. I'm a month ahead of schedule. I'm squatting 350. I just started running again, so it's doing good.
Signing day yesterday, I know it's exciting. There was never any doubt for you. You were, in fact, recruiting other guys to come to U of A the entire time. But for you to sign, we got some little video of it here. What did that feel like to kind of make things – I know this – you probably made it official in the morning before school, and then this was sort of to celebrate.
This was this afternoon, actually.
Oh, this was today, to celebrate with your
an hour and a half
school
ago.
and your classmates. What have the last couple of days been like for you, even though you knew it was coming?
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's just seeing that that letter is just kind of crazy. I've been dreaming about that since 8th grade. So when it was finally in front of me, I kind of didn't know what to do with it. I was kind of scared to look at it, but I'm glad to get the process over with.
Yeah, and those things are always cool, I think, to see some of your classmates and friends and people you've known a long time and see them accomplish their dreams too.
Yeah, seeing Johnny, Emma, Chloe, Paige, and Maddie, it was just great that Liberty's going to go show the other parts of the world and how we do it here.
What was it about U of A? Clayton Madden and you passed on the way out the door, and he kind of joked about the heat. You're going to have Bakersfield the heat down in Tucson, but I'm sure that wasn't the only reason that they sort of you and them fell in love with each other, so to speak.
Yeah, I love my defensive line coach, Vincent Amy. He made me feel like at home. He was more than a coach. He was like a personal mentor. He's always there for me. Then the campus is just beautiful. I know Anthony there. Then the business major I could get there is just second to none.
Who?
Yeah, Anthony. No, we don't remember him.
I'm just kidding. Anthony Mariscal, who was our actually BVarsity Player of the Year 2 years ago. He was our first Player of the Year. My first year here. So he's now going into his third year at Arizona. He was a part-time starter in the secondary for you guys as a safety. So I want to go back to a story. Kurtis, we talked about it on the phone yesterday where as we were going through at Garces, at Centennial, at Ridgeview, we went down to Miramonte. I think the biggest thing that everybody kind of talks about is your guys' upbringing in Golden Empire Youth Football League. And it's funny, everybody talked about how you guys have been talking about this since you're 8, 9, 10 years old about playing at college football. And there were 16 football players in Kern County that signed letters of intent at either a D1, D2, D3, or NAI program. That's huge.
Oh, it's absolutely huge, especially because those Southern California, they think they're the big dogs. But we play some football here, and we proved it this year.
I think it's interesting for me to think back. There was sort of a lull, and I wasn't in Bakersfield at this time, but just looking back at some of the old signing classes and things of college and NFL football players from Bakersfield in the early part of this century, so 2000 through 2005. Then all of a sudden you had a Ryan Matthews coming. He's a Pro Bowler. Obviously Derek Carr, Cody Kessler, Matt Darr, Colton Schmidt. All these guys are in the NFL now. Others have played college football successfully. And when that kind of wave started, you guys were the young kids looking up to those guys. I mean, do you remember that feeling and sort of that opening your eyes to the possibility of, hey, I can keep playing football after high school?
When we had a few all-star games down in down south in San Diego. I got to watch Carr when he played San Diego State, and I'm like, man, I want to be him. I want to play at Fresno State, but that's not going to happen now. But I just wanted to play college football, and that's been a dream of mine since then.
I mean, because I think guys like us, we see high schoolers come and go, but you don't realize, to you, those guys were heroes almost. I mean, they're guys you looked up to.
Yeah.
What happens now with Arizona? How much signing all the sort of celebration and the pomp and circumstance of that is over, and as great as it was, now it's sort of time to get to work. And I know you got to keep rehabbing your knee, but before you graduate in May and then move on to Arizona this summer, how much contact do you have with your college coaches? What sort of instructions do they give you?
Yeah, I talk to them every day. My defensive line coach and my coordinator, I talk to him a lot. But
Marcel Yates.
Yeah, I just talked to them. They just told me to take the neat baby steps. Don't push it too much because they're expecting me to come in there and compete for a job. So I'm just trying to take my job and make sure I can do it there.
Kurtis, what I saw today and the friendship between you and Johnny Ball Daris, who's going to San Jose State. Yeah. He was our player of the year. You were our defensive player of the year. It's heartwarming. It really is. And the way that he talked about you and how you guys became friends during the Golden Empire All-Star game 5-6 years ago as 8th graders. How has that relationship grown between the two of you?
Yeah, it started right then and there. Love the guy right from the start. He was going full speed in drills. I'm like, yeah, I wanted this guy on our freedom team. But ever since then, we stayed in contact when he went to Shafter, and I've always tried to get him to come to Liberty, and he finally did. And after that, I was like, man, let's try to do a package deal because that's our dream since 8th grade to be a package deal. But I'm just proud of him going to San Jose State. I think San Jose State got a steal, to be honest, out of him. And he's a great person, great football player, and I can't wait to see him on ESPN soon.
Yeah, and obviously they'll be playing around these parts. They'll play UNLV, Fresno State, Nevada, Reno, San Diego State. I mean, places that people from Bakersfield can go and see.
Well, and in the same right, he'll be able to go down to L.A.,
Pasadena, or L.A. Yeah. Every other year, or every year you'll be either at one or the other. I think the way the schedule works out. So that's very cool. Trevor wrote a column yesterday about how this is getting to this point is about more than just being a good athlete. And I think that's something you probably had to learn at some point, as most guys do. What was that process like, learning, hey, I got this figured out on the football field, but I have to have the academics in order. I have to have the community part in order. You really have to be a well-rounded person, I think, to get a Division I scholarship.
Yeah. When I got into high school, my grades weren't the hottest. They really weren't. But having those serious talks with Nixon saying, like, hey, you want to play college football, you got to do it. So I got my grades up to a 3.2. And being a good person in the community that's going to help you get a job later in life. That's what they always talk about at these colleges. Like, don't burn your bridges because one day that person might be your head coach or going for your job, so don't burn that bridge, and you could get that job.
You mentioned a business degree. What kind of business are you going to get into one day?
Sports business marketing. That's what I'm looking at right now, but it could change.
Okay. So what?
And Johnny wants to get in entrepreneurship. You guys should just open up a sports bar together.
That's right. There you go, and give us free drinks. No, I'm just kidding.
I got a two-part question for you, Kurtis. You talk about you doing the work in the classroom to be able to get to this opportunity to play for a Pac-12 program. You've got buddies that didn't sign yesterday because of work that they didn't do in the classroom. Do you have conversations with them about what they need to do? Guys that should be, Division I college football players. Do you have conversations with those guys? We don't have to name any names, but is there a conversation you tell a guy, hey, don't look down on yourself. You always have a second opportunity. Does that ever come up?
Yeah, there's always second opportunities. Everyone thinks JC is a terrible way, but I've seen a lot of people come out of JC and do great things in college and go in the NFL. So it's not such a bad thing. It's just sometimes it just happens later for others to mature enough, but everyone's going to get there, and I'm glad that they will get there.
Derek Vickers, hey, look at that guy on BHS State Championship team in 2013, basically pretty frankly said, look, I didn't get it done in the classroom for a couple of years. Had to go to BC, had an injury there. I think had some more academic problems there at one point. Now he's got offers from all over the place. Texas A&M offered him the other day, and here he goes. It's a success story.
So here's the second part. Kurtis, you're a role model. I mean, like it or not, if you do like it, that's awesome. If you don't like it, too bad. You're a role model. What do you say to younger kids, the kids that are coming up in the GEYL now, the kids that are coming into Liberty now or other high schools now? What do you tell them? Stop messing around, get in the classroom now, worry about school, and then play football?
Yeah, class is a huge thing. Schools like UCLA, USC, Stanford, they kind of turned me down because I didn't do my stuff in the first part. That's when they first looked at me, and that kind of hurt because my mom's dream school for me was UCLA. But just get in that classroom. Don't be the class clown. Just do your job, and then do your work on the football field, and everything will be smooth for you for the rest of your life.
There's at least 1 week now where mom's not going to be a Bruins fan, though, right? She
No,
better not be.
No, she's an Arizona fan
All right.
completely now.
Your future Arizona defensive end, is that where they've slotted you, or where do you think you fit in there?
I believe I'm going to play more of the 3 technique,
Okay.
but they said I could play the 1 and the defensive end.
Okay, so competing for a job next year, obviously size, strength-wise, they feel like you're ready once you are healthy, obviously. How do you feel? What do you think you need to do to get ready for those fall practices coming up?
Just get a little bit bigger. College football, there's some big boys out there, so you just got to get ready for it, then adapt to the game speed, because going from GYF to high school is a big difference. High school to college, you just got to get used to it, and the quicker you can do that, the quicker you get on the field.
No chance you'll play any corner like I saw you playing scout team in fall practice this year, though.
I'm going to try to convince Rich to play me at corner or go get a kick return or quarterback. I'm going to get it.
No.
When I was growing up in New Mexico, Brian Urlacher returned kicks.
No, I want to go back to what Nixon used you at a few times, put you at fullback and let you run on the goal line.
Yeah, good times.
Lower the shoulder, yeah.
I want to go back to something that I kind of beat with a dead horse here. I beat it down with the stick. Is this whole thing about this community and how you guys all rally around each other. There could be resentment from Liberty players or BHS players or Ridgeview players against Independence players, but you guys all rally around. How much of that just comes from how close knit this community is, how you guys all play football as a younger age, and that despite what high school you go to, you remain friends. Is that part of it, or what is it about this community where you guys always just rally for each other? Because I know you guys talked to Elijah Ortiz over at Stockdale, or Daniel Shoney over at BHS, or Connor Bruce at Garces. What is it?
Yeah, some of my best friends come from those rival schools like BHS, Garces, but we always want the best for each other. Even though we are rivals, we want them to get that extra offer, a higher offer, but we just want to prove that Bakersfield can play football because we get outshined by the Sacramento, the Southern section, so we're all just close together and we'll fight for each other.
Well, and not just that, you just think about Liberty in itself. Like, since I've been here, I mean, the Pac-12 and the Mountain West are really kind of just littered with players out of there. Jordan Love's at Utah State, Anthony Mariscal's at Arizona. You're going to Arizona. You go down the line, Chris Barnes is at UCLA, Braylon Scott's at Colorado State. I mean, we just go down the line. I mean, it's pretty unique. And how much do you kind of attest all your success, a lot of it, to Brian Nixon as a head coach?
Definitely. Brian Nixon is like the key for us. Since he came in, a lot of guys have been starting to get out. And so without him, there would have been more offers or some other offers out there. But with him, just mentoring us, because he's been through it. He's been on the coaching side. But without him, I don't know if anything would have been possible.
And I just think back to some of these teams you guys have had. All the players Trevor's listed off and winning the Valley last year, obviously, and playing for the Valley 2 years ago, and this year granted to BHS. But what a special group. I mean, what do you take away from your high school career now that it's sort of in your rearview mirror?
I loved it. I would do it all over again just to do the exact same thing. I love my former teammates now, like Chris Barnes, Anthony. They took me under their wing when they were getting all those offers, telling me that I could be that, just got to do this, that. But I'm just proud of the team that I've played upon, and I can't wait to see the future of Liberty football.
All right, Kurtis Brown, Liberty High School, to the University of Arizona next. Can we get a bear down?
Bear down.
All right. We will be back to wrap things up on BVarsity Live. Our last segment, we've got some more signing day things to take a look at, as well as some big wrestling news from last night and coming up this weekend as well. We'll be back on BVarsity Live.
Kurt should have wrestled.